Well, hello again, all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. John and Ellie of Georgia Beer Reviews back at you today with another edition of Stout Sunday. All right, and joining me this morning, we have Mr. Jean-Pierre, the Beverage Ramble, down in Georgia.
Hello, everyone out there in YouTube land, and hello, panel, John and Mike.
All right. Glad to have you here, Jean. And we've got Mr. Michael Komaroff, the Stout King, down in Brooklyn, New York. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning. Always great to be here, guys. Looking forward to this.
All right. I think we've got some pretty good ones today. Let's go ahead and dive right in. We'll start with you, Jean. What are you drinking this morning?
All right. I'm drinking the Kalamazoo Stout from our friends at Bell's Brewing. I've had this before. 6% ABV. Stout brewed with brewer's licorice. Very good stout, and look forward to trying this again for all of you out there watching.
All right. Good deal. Michael, what are you drinking this morning?
From Trogs in Hershey, Pennsylvania, Grand Cacao, which is their chocolate stout at 6.5%. And I've had this before, and it's a good stout. We'll have to give you all the specifics once you come around again.
Nice. Now, you bought that one in a variety pack, right?
It came with the Trojanator, the Mad Elf, and then 3 of their IPAs. The way the dates were set up, I had to drink the IPAs quickly because it was almost like, they give 6 months and the IPAs were already in the 5th month. So I drank those quickly.
Okay.
These other ones, I don't worry about the dates. I think the Trojanator is over 8%, and the Mad Elf is 11.
Yeah.
So I don't think you have to worry about those. Those will hold up for a while.
Yeah, definitely. All right, and I've got from Kettlehead Brewing Company. They're out of Tilton, New Hampshire originally, but last few that I've had from them, it says Franklin, New Hampshire. So I wonder if they relocated or maybe they just opened up a second brewery. But either way, they're out of New Hampshire. And this is Sunday night. Clocks in at 9% alcohol. It's an imperial stout with chocolate, marshmallow, and almond. And I've never had it, so looking forward to trying it. Bumpy gave me this can last time he came to visit. We always do some beer trading. And let's see. Jason Cleveland, we've got Jason in the chat. Good morning to you, Jason. Friar Tuck's in the chat. Good morning, fellas. Good morning, Friar Tuck. Flacco's in the chat as well. Good morning to you, Flacco. And
hey,
Connor
Flacco
is also in the chat. So a lot of people in the chat already. I like it. Okay, well, who's ready to do some stout drinking? I know I am. All right, let's go ahead and pull Jean up and let him tell us a little bit about his Bell's Kalamazoo Stout. We've also got Miscellaneous in the chat. Cheers, Miscellaneous.
All right, it said Kalamazoo Stout from our friends at Bell's Brewing Company, 6% ABV. So from Bell's Brewing in Michigan, roasty, coffee, dark chocolate notes, according to what's on the website and also what's on, the back of the can. Dark chocolate, freshly roasted coffee, balanced with a significant hop presence. So, what type of hops they use, I'm not sure, but house ale yeast, brewer's licorice, gluten-free, according to them. Again, IBUs is 51%, 22.5 carbs. So not the most healthy beer, but still very enjoyable. So here it is in my glass. Very little head. When I poured it, I'll pour some more into the glass. It's a little wine glass I have. So, but does have a nice little creamy look to the top. Little head right there just kind of came up on there. So there it is. Get a whiff. Are we going to go ahead and do the tasting and all that, or wait?
Let's go around. Well, yeah, why not? It's just 3 of us, so go for it.
Okay. So get a whiff. Definitely you smell the coffee and definitely the roasted barley. I'm not getting that dark chocolate, that type of dark chocolate you use, whether you're, like you buy, at the, those Dove's dark chocolate candies, or the dark chocolate you see that has the raspberries inside of it, that type of dark chocolate, um, or the Mounds type of dark chocolate, Mounds candy, but not getting that whiff of it, but I'm sure in the taste it will be. So here it is, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers, John.
Cheers, John.
Oh yeah, the dark chocolate taste is definitely on the tongue, for sure. And definitely get that fresh roasted coffee and that roasted malt. So, oh yeah. The type of hops they use, I'm not so sure. And they mentioned brewer's licorice, so whatever that is, but definitely a good evenly keel of the dark chocolate, the roasted coffee, and the roasted malts. All three are present in this stout.
Any licorice?
I'm not getting that right now. Maybe I'm sure it's there, but I'm not getting that on the tongue right now.
If it's there, it's subtle. I've had it before and have never been able to note it as being a main taste. But I don't know.
Yeah, that's why. That's one of the things. I mean, I've had that stout many times over the years, and I think it's a solid beer. But I'm always disappointed because I like licorice, and when you have a beer like that says right on the label, brewer's licorice, I'm expecting some kind of licorice flavor, and it's even more pronounced now on the newer label. On the old label, it was kind of on the side in smaller text. They put it right there in big bold text on the bottom of the label, so you would think that would be a primary flavor, but it's not.
But I'm not getting that at all. But it's a beautiful stout. Again, nice creaminess, that nice head up top, and you're drinking something real good. Do they don't? I know Bell's. Does Bell do? I know they do, but I forgot the name. Does Bell's do an imperial stout?
They do the Expedition stout.
Expedition.
Yeah, that I don't see. I see this. I see all the other Bell's beers. The Two Hearted Ale. I see their low-cal IPA. But I don't see, and of course the stout, but I don't see that one Expedition at all, nowhere. So, and Bell's beers their submission is pretty good for the beer company. I mean, you get it as far down as Alabama,
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but I said I've had the stout before and I haven't been disappointed in it. So I'm sure you guys haven't been either. So again, all three flavors are there: the coffee, the dark chocolate, and the roasted malts. So I have my score coming up.
All right. Sounds good, John. Let's pull Michael up.
I can remember when we first got Bell's, they also had a 30th anniversary one, which was really good. A stout that was a specialty thing. It was only available for a really short period of time. I did get to taste it, and it was really good. And I've had the Expedition before as well, but it's not readily available it seems like maybe it's available in like short stints. They ship it out, but it's not a steady thing. And you maybe have to be, in the greater Kalamazoo area to find it readily, and maybe through Michigan. We could ask BC if he can get it. I'm not sure where in Michigan he is related to.
I'm sure he could. I'm sure
he might be able to get it in Michigan. I have seen it here though. It's not like it's never been sold here. It's just not readily available. And that 30th anniversary one was just a limited release, so that was there and gone. And
they also had an Expedition bourbon barrel aged version, which may have been a limited time thing, or it may be a regular beer, but I could never find it in my area. The Expedition I found a couple of times, but Ron Terrio did a review of the barrel aged Expedition. This is years ago. So they did it at least once, but I'm not sure if it's a regular beer in their lineup or not.
If I'm right, though, in my thinking, it seems like we got Bell's in New York in like 2014. So it's been here about 8 years.
Yeah.
We never had Bell's at all before that. And then it just came, and it's been here since. The Kalamazoo that John had is readily available. Several of their other beers are available. The
Amber Ale is
the
popular.
IPAs, you know, was it Two Hearted?
The Two Hearted, and yeah, then now they have a Double Hearted, which is like a double IPA version of that, which I haven't seen.
So
but
it's
yeah,
definitely it's a good brewer and well known, and they have had good distribution.
Yes.
The owner has since left, and it's been somebody else took it over, but I'm not sure who. They're owned by somebody at this point, and it had been independent until he retired. His family didn't want to take it over, so somebody else is running it now. I can't tell you if there's any difference since he's gone because I haven't been drinking enough Bells to tell, so I can't say. But Co-op has it, so I buy some of their beer sometimes. I mean, it's not safe. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to get to my beer now.
All right.
Again, it is Trump Trogs, Grand Cacao, Galena hops. I guess I can read the malts that are here too, because there's a bunch of malts in this as well. What are the malts here? I haven't even heard of this malt, but whatever. I've heard of caramel malt. That's there. Placer, Plaver. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. I guess barley, malted barley malt, roasted barley malt. I'm sorry, and Galena hops. And I'll read what they tell you. Welcome to Grand Cacao. This deliciously decadent stout is built on a foundation of rich chocolate malt, caramel malt, and roasted barley. Cold steeping on Peruvian cacao nibs and natural vanilla doubles down on the smooth symphony of chocolate, and a splash of milk sugar delivers a velvety, sweet, creamy finish. We will see if that's true.
Nice. That's one of the few Trogs beers I haven't had. I've had the Mad Elf. I've had the Perpetual IPA. I've had the Troganator, which I just reviewed like 2 or 3 days ago. And I think that's the main part of their lineup, other than the Grand Cacao, which I have not had.
It is possible this is only available in multi-packs. They don't make 6-packs of it. I don't know for a fact one way or the other. This is the only way I've seen it. Okay, so anyway, as you can see, and because of my light is so bright, I don't know if you can tell, it's very dark brown. The head is like mocha, so it's a little bit lighter than tan, but it's definitely, not white. It has that kind of coloration to it. Let me get a nose on it. Okay, it's funny. You can smell, and it's a chocolate stout, but there's a difference between chocolate and chocolate that's generated from cacao nibs. So what you're getting more is you're getting a more milky kind of chocolate than, some of these other stouts have more of a dark chocolate kind of thing. This is more of a milk chocolate kind of nose.
Kind of like the one from Pontoon, their decadent mousse stout that they had. Cocoa nibs they use.
That's you
can just see by the way the head, you can see that it has milk sugar in it because the head is very spongy and is holding up really well, and it's 6.5%, so there's no reason it can't support a head like that. Let's see if I get anything else in the nose. You can smell the roasted malts, but they're more in the background. The cocoa nibs are the star of this show, and that's the lead smell. Let's get a taste on it. Cheers.
Cheers, Michael.
Cheers.
This is really nice. Okay, so you're getting that milk chocolate front as you drink it. You can taste the roasted malts as well. It goes down really nice for a 6.5% beer. It's more like a session. If I was if you blindfolded me and I didn't know what it was and I'm drinking it, I could think this is just a session stout at about 5%. So it's covering the 1.5% anyway, but again, 6.5% is not exactly, compared to some of the stuff we drink, a big deal. If you think about it, I mean, right. yours is 9, and you should notice the difference in the 9 as well as something like this.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. 6.5 is very mild in today's standard for stout.
but it still goes down easy. And if you've been used to it, I know St. Patrick's Day just went by, and during St. Patrick's Day, I think more Guinness is consumed than anything else on the holiday.
Right.
All their beers, even their export at 7.5, all the beers that they do, I would say, are lower alcohol for the most part. 4.2 for the draft and 5.5 for the regular one, I think. So
For the
of those.
Yeah, right. Yeah, 4.2, 5.5, I think, for the extra, and then the 4 and extra is 7.5 or
So
7.
I would say this is more similar to the 5.5% Guinness, but this one is has a little bit more impact in its flavor than the Guinness does. But
Okay.
I'm not downing the Guinness. The Guinness is a fine beer, and I've always been a big supporter of Guinness and think it's one of the better stouts that's available, considering the commercial distribution it has worldwide. But this one,
but the ABV is 5.6, so it's
5.6,
low
okay.
versus this one.
The extra percent that this has probably makes it a little bit more substantial in the taste. The mouthfeel is medium, and maybe it's actually more the top of low toward medium. Let's see if I'm getting anything else. It's pretty smooth in terms of its taste, and I'm enjoying it. If you look at the glass, I don't know if you can tell or not, you're getting some nice lacing on the side as well, all along the top.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So it's good. I'll formulate my score, and I'll be back.
All right, good deal. Okay, well, that leaves me, and once again, I've got the Kettlehead Brewing Company out of New Hampshire. This is the Sunday Night, 9% alcohol. I poured it a while ago. It did pour with kind of like a khaki-colored head, almost tan, but a little bit more on the lighter side. It's mostly dissipated, but you can see it's still got that thin film on top, and you can actually pick up on camera, at least on my end, you can see the bubbles going up the glass. So which is nice to see in a 9% Imperial Stout when you see the bubbles like that, because there's at least a little bit of carbonation, which is not always the case with some of these higher ABV stouts. So this one has chocolate, marshmallow, and almond in it. Appearance is jet black. I'm holding it up to the light. I can't see anything coming through at all. So it smells very sweet. I'm definitely getting the chocolate and the marshmallow. There's a very prominent marshmallow, sweet kind of vanilla type aroma, or artificial vanilla, or whatever that distinct marshmallow thing is coming through on the nose. There is a little bit of a slight nuttiness as well on the nose, but nothing that really makes me think of almond. It's just like when you get a nut brown ale or something like that. It's just there's a little bit of that there, but nothing distinctly almond on the aroma. It smells delightful. It smells like it's going to be very sweet, dessert-like, which obviously that's what they're going for. There's on the label, it's got a bunch of ice cream, and this would be like a pastry stout. No ABV, no alcohol presence on the aroma. It just smells like a nice, sweet dessert-style stout. So go ahead and get into it. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers, John.
Wow. It's really good. It's sweet. The first thing I thought of, Jean, when I took that first sip, you were talking about the Decadent Moose. There was a version of it. They had an orange version. They had a raspberry version. I'm tasting raspberry. I don't know why. There's no raspberries in here. But it's sweet, and there's like a berry note. And to me, it's very reminiscent of a raspberry, which is very strange considering that there's nothing even closely resembling a raspberry in this beer. The chocolate's coming through. Maybe it's the marshmallow flavor that is presenting like that. Maybe it's some kind of artificial marshmallow type thing, but it doesn't say on the label artificial flavors or anything like that. So it's interesting. Okay, so chocolate, raspberry, marshmallow. There's a little nutty character kind of in the middle to go along with the malt backbone. You're getting some nice toasted bread notes. A little bit of dark chocolate and almost a little bit of coffee on the finish. Of course, there's no coffee added either, but just the intensity, I think, of the roasted malt gives it a little bit of an astringent type note, a little bitterness on the finish to round it out because it is very sweet initially. This is actually, I'm very impressed with this because I've kind of gotten to the point where these really sweet dessert type stouts are a little too much for me, and I typically kind of steer clear of them and go for like the barrel aged stuff. And
is this more like a pastry stout, John? Kind of.
It's not. You know what? It has the flavor components of a pastry stout, right? Dessert, marshmallow, chocolate, the nutty character, but it's not thick and syrupy. And when I think of a pastry stout, I think of like a really thick, heavy dessert type stout. This is dessert like in the flavor profile, but the body is actually medium for a 9% stout. It is sweet. It's not cloying. There's that nice little roasted malt character, the toasted bread, and a little bit of like a coffee note on the back end to round it out. So it's actually very balanced for what it is.
How's the alcohol in terms of the booziness and what you're getting straight across your taste profile?
No booziness, no alcohol, no warming effect going down either to let you know that it's a higher alcohol. If you look as I'm pouring this, it actually kind of pours out brown, and you can see it doesn't look syrupy, or at least I don't know how it's looking to you guys, but it's not one of those motor oil type pastry stouts, really thick. It's nice. It's really well done. Maybe they filtered it after they brewed it to like get some of the thickness out, because the chocolate and marshmallow you would think would really give it a viscosity, but that's not really the case. This is one of the better dessert type stouts that I've had in a long time because it's easier drinking. It's not boozy. It's sweet, but it's balanced because you get the bitterness on the finish to round it out. And I love the fact that it's not heavy and really like syrupy in any way. So I'm really enjoying this. I'll keep sipping on it and think of a rating. I think the most surprising part is that raspberry note that I'm getting, which, I mean, it's not, I don't know if you would call it an off flavor because there's no raspberry in here, but I like it. It's strange, but I really like it. So I'll keep sipping on it and think of a rating. In the meantime, let's go back to the chat really quick. Commerce is talking about he's got an Expedition Stout in his cellar, bottled on September.
Oh, that's going to be good if he sellers that.
So,
yes.
Still pretty fresh, though. When you get to a year, that'd be getting a little age on it.
Well, I had the CBS at the CBS before Founders canceled it. I did a review, a rehash of it. That was the 2019 version. I found it at this liquor store in Montclair when I went to visit my folks for Christmas, and it was refrigerated and all, but it turned out pretty good to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
John, I was going to say that you mentioned your berry note in a lot of the Bourbon County stuff. You'll pick up a berry note. They don't mention that in their description, but it does come up.
Right, but I think the reason the barrel aging kind of lends all kinds of flavors to it. This being a straight stout with added flavor, because there's no added raspberry, it just makes me wonder, like, what is in there? Is it the marshmallow and the chocolate combination, or like something with the malt profile? Like, why is it that I'm picking up on raspberry? It's interesting. It's not a bad flavor at all. I'm really enjoying it. It reminds me of the raspberry chocolate mousse beer from Pontoon that John was talking about earlier that I had down in Georgia. But yeah, like barrel aging brings out, berry, some dark fruit sometimes, all kinds of interesting flavor notes. But it makes it that much more interesting because it's not barrel aged, and I'm still getting that type of flavor profile.
Well,
So
it's a beer that's a sundae, and when you do have ice cream sundaes, berries can be
a lot of
important in
times they
those too.
put the right. That is true. And they've got, on the label, they've got cherry, they've got sundaes with the cherry, and they've got all kinds of different desserts. But the only additives that they list on the label are chocolate, marshmallow, and almond. That's one thing. The almond is not really coming through. I was getting a little nuttiness on the aroma, and there's really not like a big nutty flavor at all. So that's the one thing that kind of falls short. But yeah, it's really a nice beer. So we'll go back to Jean and let him tell us a little bit more about his Bell's Kalamazoo and final thoughts, ratings, all of that.
Well, as I said, I think this is really enjoyable. If people want to infuse it, you can do so, but I don't think it really needs to. I mean, imagine this was a barrel-aged stout. I mean, this would be like flying off the shelves, but good thing is at 6%. So a reasonable, good stout to kind of get people introduced to this style, just like with Murphy's and or Guinness. But 6%, not too bad, very enjoyable. I'm gonna go 89 out of 100 for this one. That is my score for the Kalamazoo Stout from Bell's.
All right, not a bad score. You're probably a little bit more generous than me because if I haven't had it in years, but I would really knock it down for the lack of licorice flavor. Just because if I buy a licorice stout and they have it right there on the front of the label, I expect at least a little bit of licorice flavor.
Right.
But anyway, all right. So 89 out of 100, not a bad score. Michael, what are you thinking about the Grand Cacao from Trogs?
Okay, well, as you see, I've been sipping on it pretty heavy. I'm down to about maybe 3 ounces left at the bottom. But you made the comment about your carbonation. I didn't mention about the carbonation on this one. It's if you can't see because of the light, whatever. But the carbonation on this one is very steady, also through the top, and you're seeing a lot of, and throughout the whole thing that it's coming up really, and it's like a tingly kind of carbonation, if you know what I mean. You can taste the carbonation in the sip.
Yeah, it gives it a little bit of like effervescence, kind of bright.
So it makes it go down easier. That with the milk sugar together, it's a good combination. I'm going to give this a 93. So this is an A.
It's good.
Right.
Very good. I would recommend it. I don't know the availability of the 12 packs either, because Trogs is in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Do they ship their 12 packs the same as they do their 6 packs or their bottles? Because they do bottle beer too. They don't only have cans. Trogs has bottles as well. So maybe the availability of these 12 packs might be more Northeast kind of thing, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, maybe up in John. You might see it in Massachusetts. It's possible Trogs could get up there. You see some of the Trogs.
I bought a 6-pack of the Trogs Troganator last week and just posted a review like 3 days ago. I had the Mad Elf a couple months ago, the Mad Elf Grand Cru as well. That they have the Perpetual IPA, the white can IPA here. The only one I haven't seen is the one that you have, and maybe it's because they only sell it in the variety pack, and I haven't seen the variety pack, but I'll definitely be on the lookout for it for sure.
But check the dates, because you may, if you look at the dates on the IPA ones, you'd like them to be within 3 months if you can, because once they start getting into the 4th, 5th, and 6th month, I drank them and they were okay. It's just that the hop presence in an IPA does fade as it gets older and whatever. Right. I find with the double IPAs and the triple IPAs, you can hold them longer. I don't know why. It would just seem like the hops would still fade, but maybe the alcohol holds the hops a little bit better.
Maybe it preserves them in some way, but
whatever. But there's no question that when we're talking about the high end stuff like the Treehouse and the Trillium and the other half, and some of these other classic double IPAs, you want them as fresh as possible, because you're going to get some hop fade for sure, and you're spending big dollars on those too. It can be $5, $6, $7 a can for just a 16-ounce can without any problem. So they tend to be more pricey too. So that's why. But 93, and it's a solid 93. I can't go into the higher zone where we have gone before into the 94s through the 99. It's not only based on the fact that 6.5%, it's not a top end kind of thing. You could say this is very good to extremely good without hitting that excellent category.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Very nice. Well, I take home the award, I guess, today for the best stout. I'm going to go with a 95 for mine.
All right.
This is a really solid A beer. It's one of the better. I mean, I would say that it falls into the pastry stout category because it's a dessert type stout with chocolate and marshmallow, and it's very. I mean, it falls right into that range, but it's not as thick. It's not syrupy. The alcohol at 9% is non-existent. It's got that nice little raspberry note that I'm detecting, which almost gives it a little bit of it's got like a pseudo barrel-esque type quality to it, because you get that sometimes, like we were talking about earlier, with barrel-aged stout. So it's got a really nice and interesting flavor profile, and it's sweet initially, which is to be expected with a dessert stout, but it has a nice little roasted malt, like astringency and coffee type bitterness on the back end to really round it out to where it's not cloying. So yeah, 95 out of 100. This is a really, really solid dessert stout from Kettlehead. And I've had a lot of stuff from them. I haven't had a beer from Kettlehead that I don't like yet. This is really impressive. And not that it matters so much with the date on these, because it's a higher ABV stout, but it was canned on January 20th, 2023. So it's pretty fresh too. All right. Let's see really quick. We'll go back to the chat. We got BC in the chat, says cheers. Cheers to you, BC. And I think we're caught up on the chat. Flacco Commerce. Yeah, everybody, we're caught up on the chat. We can go ahead. Let me put this on the bottom for anybody that might be joining late. Those were our beers. That's what we rated them. So let's do a little show and tell or shout outs. If you got anything, we can
Hold on.
do that. I'm going to go. Yeah, everybody go grab their stuff.
My stuff. Let me go.
Please stand by.
Grab my stuff. And once John brings me back, I will put me on the camera. So I'll do that.
All right. Sounds good. Okay. I'll pull you up, John.
All right.
Okay.
Again, John, Mike, great hanging out with y'all for Stout Sunday. Fun. Here, I recently uploaded my review of Blue Moon's Light Sky Citrus Wheat. I thought I had done that, but it looks like I didn't do it. But I uploaded that, and I was okay. I was so on that one, but again, for that beer would be perfect for the summertime. And with the weather being what it is today, it doesn't feel like it. It's like 50 to 40, about to be the high 50 degrees today here in Georgia. But in any event, so that's what's uploaded on the channel. I'll be doing this one here from Wild Heaven, this Atlanta Easy, which is ABV wise, where is it? 6%. From Wild Heaven Brewing Company. This is what I'll be reviewing. The ATL Easy IPA, which is, I guess, is a session. Easy. When they say easy, you think it's a session, but who knows? Blackbeard's Breakfast Porter.
Oh yeah,
brewed Breakfast Porter brewed with coffee and aged in bourbon barrels.
I've had that before. That's really good. Yeah.
You had that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. This is from Heaven Seas Beer in Baltimore, Maryland, and Raderberger, the 150th anniversary of their Pilsner.
Oh wow, I've never heard of that. 100. That's obviously a very. 150 years making that beer. Got to be pretty good.
So, got that review, and I got the Scofflaw Hooligan, Scofflaw Brewing Company, their Hooligan, another IPA from them. They already have two already others. They have their regular, the basement, and they got the POG. So this one, also the breweries here in Atlanta, 7% ABV. So those are the four I'm going to be reviewing coming up.
Nice.
And tomorrow, Wednesday, of course, there's Jay's channel. We'll be doing Milwaukee's Best Light. Unfortunately, I have to buy a 30-pack of it, which I'm probably going to split with my brother and say, hey, here's my gift to you moving into your new home. Take 15 cans of this beer. I'll take the rest of the 15 cans. So, yeah, they don't have the 15-pack. The only 15-pack I've seen has only been the Milwaukee's Best Ice. So, so yeah, that's what we're going to be reviewing this coming Wednesday, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific for that. Of course, Thundering Thursday, which will continue until after Easter. Then we'll go back to beginning Fandango Friday. But Thundering Thursday, liquor or liqueurs, 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific for that. And I think Eric Thomas Metal 75 also does a Wednesday night get together at the same time, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Beer Man, Beer and Cheese. I think it's on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. I believe it is
Tuesday. Beer and Cheese Tuesday. Yeah.
So Tuesday. So check his channel out. You know, he gave me a shout out, so might as well do the same for him. You know, really good guy. I think he starts at 8:00 Eastern, right? I believe.
Yes, he does.
8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. So of course, Beer Man's out in Oregon on the West Coast. So check this channel out. Beer pairing with whatever cheesers or cheese, whatever thing, and I guess next Sunday either will be Stout Sunday on your channel, John, or it could be Super Sunday on Jay's channel, which Stout Sunday, of course, could be stouts or porters, or if it's Jay's channel, it'll be Super Sunday. Bring whatever you want. Both times, 10:30 a.m. Eastern, 7:30 a.m. Pacific. So there you go.
All right. Well, I think you covered just about every shout out imaginable. So that just leaves more show and tell. But really quick, I wanted to, Michael and John, we got our buddy Ian in the chat says, the only stout I have in my hotel is a can of Guinness. I am light on stouts right now. In his hotel. So I guess Ian is traveling. And then we got Turtle Man in the chat says, cheers, happy Sunday. Cheers to you, Turtle Man. Glad to hear from you. I hadn't heard from you in a while. All right, let me pull Michael up and let him talk about his show and tell. I was going to ask you, though, Michael, the John did the show and tell of the Scofflaw Hooligan IPA, or the beer from them. Do you still have the Scofflaw beer that I sent you, or did you drink that?
Was that a vanilla stout?
That was a vanilla stout.
I still have it.
You still have it. Okay.
What's the ABV on that one?
I think it was 11. Wait, let me think now. I think it's 13.9. If I'm not
I was going to say it's
mistaken.
either 13.9 or 14.
I can't find it.
It's right at the legal limit for Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, because 14% is that's it in Georgia. You only go 40% and that's it. But I mean, all I see anything I go to the store, anywhere I go, Scofflaw is just the POG, the basement, and then this one.
It's a specialty bottle. They probably only put it out once a year or something. And I
have to go to the brewery. That's another brewery I need to go visit. You know,
You need to go to Wildly, Sean, in LaGrange. That's
yes.
That's my favorite Georgia craft brewery. That's another one I sent Michael. I had to take the video down because I was a little too inebriated by the time we got to review it. But that was the one with the big red wax seal over it, the big bomber bottle, a bourbon. I think it was aged in Buffalo Trace bourbon barrels. So, John, if you go to Wildly, get you some of those big stouts. They're amazing. And I think they're 14%. They're right there. They're as high as you can go in Georgia.
Okay.
So, all right. Sorry, Michael. Go ahead.
One of the reasons I think I still have that beer is it's similar to the Black is Beautiful I have, which I bought the full case of. So I'm just drinking that over time. So I'm saving yours for a special reason to drink it. I don't know why. Something will hit me. Something, whatever. It's aging in the can, as they say. And at that kind of ABV, nothing bad is going to happen. Okay, what I have to show you today, and I think people have had this one, but I'll show it again. This is from Brooklyn, and this is their Black Ops, but this is the one with the Four Roses barrels that they use in these. Nice. And this is the first time they've ever canned it. Before this, they were always came in those bottles, and they were much more pricey. You know, the 22-ounce bottle, it was like $20, which, look, you got to go and try if you want. It's, you know, champagne aged and whatever. I will say that the ones in the bottles is better than this. And I've had both. So I'm just giving you my.
We still need to do our Brooklyn. I've got a 2005 bottle of the black chocolate stout in my fridge. I got it.
Well, I still have my 2022, so I could do that at the same time for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying this is bad. It's okay. It wasn't anything, and it doesn't say that the Four Roses that's the reason. It's not. It doesn't have the same magnitude that the ones in the bottles have. Right. Okay. I also have, and I don't know if John's tried this or Jean's tried this. This is from Richmond, Virginia, from Hardywood, and this is their gingerbread stout. Oh. Have you guys seen this?
The GBS. I have heard about it. Josh Abrams has hyped it up before, and I have had Hardywood beers. I'm pretty sure I can get it. But no, I don't think I've had it before.
Okay, so this is 9.2% alcohol. And
is that one barrel aged or is that straight up?
This is just the straight one, but they have a barrel aged one too.
Right, they have a barrel aged version of that, I believe, as well. So
this is Imperial Milk Stout with cinnamon, vanilla, ginger, and honey. And I remember when I did have it, it was more spicy than it was sweet. So that was a very positive thing for a gingerbread stout. Okay, my last one is going to get John tingly.
Oh, all right.
And I want to wait till Jean comes back to show this, but I promise you're going to get tingly.
Nice. Well, Ian's in the chat and says he has a black chocolate stout from 2017 and maybe older. And if we can wait until April,
fine. April sounds fine. We'll get
that's fine with me. I mean, it's already. I mean, it's 2005. What is it? 2023. So yeah, we're going on 18 years old. Or wait.
Right.
Yeah.
It's amazing that you found one that old. It sounds like it might have been lost or something. And then they said, hey, this is still high enough in alcohol that it'll hold up. So we got nothing to lose by selling it. And that's a pretty good deal. Okay, so we can just talk until Jean comes back. I'm trying to think what else is going on. A week from this Thursday, we have a special one of my monthly things, the second one we're doing in March, because we're not going to have one the first week in April, because some of the people couldn't come the first week in April. We moved it up a week. So March 30th, which is the last Thursday of the month. We pretty much go on a 4-week schedule unless the month is longer, and then sometimes it's 5 weeks in between. So this is the regular group of people, the ones when I send you with the full line, when you get 15, 18 beers sometimes. Everybody brings 3 now.
Oh, nice.
And okay, Jean, are you ready?
Yes.
John and Ilya, are you ready?
Yeah, I think so.
He's back.
Oh, the crazy brewski.
Okay. I've heard of that. I've heard of that one. Yeah.
Well, it's funny. There's a side story. John and Illy was able to buy some of these beers in Georgia before they figured out, and they didn't have the thing which told them the alcohol. So they probably kind of snuck it in, and it was more than 14%. You were still able to get one. So it just shows you.
Right.
That's another one I don't think I'll be able to find unless I go to another part of Georgia, maybe somewhere where John.
No, you can't. You can't get it anywhere in Georgia because it's more than
14%. So Jean, where I was getting them before they pulled them from the shelves was the Super H Mart in Atlanta. They had the big Asian market. That's where they were selling those beers, and they didn't have the ABV on the label itself. They had like a little orange sticker that kind of like the Bourbon County, where the stickers kind of go out to the side.
Yes.
They had orange stickers like that where they went out to the side and it had the ABV like 17% alcohol.
That's the one when I bought last year's version, the 2021 version. They had the label covering it because
right.
at the
so you may still be able to go to a couple of like the Asian markets and maybe they snuck some in or they're not being regulated like they should, but that would probably be the only place you'll see them.
I got two. One where my brother used to stay in the Sewanee, and then of course I got one right up here in Chambly. I can go to Super H.
Well, check next time you go. Check and see if you can find any of those beers. I'm curious to see if they kind of flown in under the radar.
But John, even if you can't find those, you may be able to find the Lobster Lovers, which is less.
That's 9%.
The before and after, which is 12, which you may be able to find. That's the one with the woman's face where it turns from.
You turn it upside down. It's
upside down. It's before and after. It's kind of cool. So they do make beers less than 14%. But this Crazy Brewski, which they're claiming is an Imperial Pilsner, which to me, what is an Imperial Pilsner? It would have to be like a Pilsner. And this doesn't taste like a Pilsner.
Kind of a contradiction of what the style of Pilsner is supposed to be.
This tastes like an Imperial barley wine is what it tastes like. Whatever. And as we've discussed, John, it can be good. It can be bad. It can be in the middle somewhere. There's no way when somebody tastes this, though, who has never had it before, they say, "Oh, this is something I'm familiar with," because it's just totally different. And I don't know if you were on, maybe it was last week. I also showed this when we were on Super Sunday, but I was in this place where I buy it, and they had a lot of the before and after, and this was the only Crazy Brewski they had. So what I said is that has to be mine. I have to buy it because I have not been buying them because sometimes they've been really awful. We had ones that finished last and stuff, and you figure, how can it finish first one week and last the next? We've talked about the way it comes across on a boat. Maybe it's poorly handled. Maybe it's got sunlight on it, whatever. They are bottle conditioned, though, so it's not like it's, cheapy beer. $3 for a 16.9 ounce doesn't sound bad, though. You think about it?
No, not at all, especially when you're considering the ABV.
And it's coming from Lithuania, so,
right. So Ian says he's got a 2013 Bourbon County that he gave to a friend, said it may not have aged well. Yeah, it's just kind of like hit or miss. You never really know. Once it gets over like 4 or 5 years.
This is the thing that's the thing. When a lot of my videos I do, I keep saying, when is good to cellar these stouts and these, porters. If I bought one in 2022 and I cellar it and, I'll drink it maybe 2 years later in 2024, let's just say, is it going to be good? Will it be bad? I don't know.
Usually it's a safe bet when you have, especially barrel-aged imperial stouts. Anything within like 4 or 5 years is usually going to be okay. After that, it gets a little risky, but you could be drinking the best thing you ever put in your mouth. Like that black chocolate stout that I've got in the fridge right now, being as old as it is, it's either going to be probably world class or it's going to be total garbage. It's probably going to be like one or the other.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're probably right.
When I did the Founder CBS 2019, when I did the rehash of it, I mean, the second time I drank it, it was just phenomenal. I enjoyed it.
Okay. The other beer you're not supposed to cellar is coffee, even in higher alcohol ones, unless you don't care if the coffee fades.
That's why I like drinking the older like KBS bottles, because the coffee fades and then it drinks more like a Bourbon County.
But you don't like the coffee, so for you that works in your
Not
favor.
that I don't like the coffee, but I'd rather have more of the bourbon coming through. So as the coffee fades, the more the flavor profile that I like comes through a little bit more.
When I was in Atlanta for, you know who Gail is because you saw her on the show when we did it. Her daughter was married in August, and we were down there. And I went to what's the wine store, John, that you go to? And
Total Wine.
Total Wine.
Yeah, I got Total Wine for me in Brookhaven.
This was in Buckhead, which is in the city of Atlanta. Anyway, I got a Terrapin Wake and Bake. And you've all seen that. It's 9.5%, 9.4%, 50 IBUs. So I've had that since August, and I was just sitting around saying, Not that I think the coffee would fade that fast. It's Jittery Joe's Coffee from Athens, Georgia. But what I decided is my group doesn't really like coffee stouts anyway. So why should I save it for them? I may as well drink it myself.
Right.
So I had that earlier in the week, and it on my scale, the 10 scale, it was 8.25, which is an A, the very A minus, let's say. But I thought it was very good, and I enjoyed it. Very coffee forward, though. If you don't like coffee, you're not going to like it. I mean, it's not going to be something which you're going to say, well, the coffee is mild, I can live through it, it's not bad, whatever. So it's a coffee forward beer. It's a coffee stout.
Right.
But I enjoyed it, and I found when I did do that shop at Total Wine that we're talking about late 2022 or the later part of the year, the craft beer prices had already started to accelerate.
Very much so.
It's gotten worse, if anything. So when you can get a bargain, and I get bargains at the co-op all the time, that Trogs 12-pack I bought was on sale for, I think I told you, John, it was like 83 cents a can when you figured it out.
Really
which I thought it was a steal, even with those IPAs being, later. I thought it still was a steal just for the ones that were, you could, the one we did today and the Trojanator and the Mad Elf, which you can sit on for a longer period of time. So I thought it was a really good deal. I get those kind of deals sometimes, but prices in general have gone up. I've also noticed more of these 19.2 ounce cans coming out from everybody in my local supermarket. Lagunitas has them. Cigar City
for their IPA. They're
mostly IPAs, but you can get Cigar City High Lie now in a 19.2 ounce can. Lagunitas has quite a few. Stone now has a 19.2 ounce can, I think.
Of course, the Oscar Blue stuff. They've been doing the
Oscar Blues
stovepipe cans for a while. I think Bell's sells 19.2 ounce cans of the like the Two Hearted Ale and those beers.
But there's a whole section in my local supermarket, the one that's a half a block, which just goes across 3 different lines with all those IPAs in 19.2, and they're not horribly cheap, but they're not super. They range anywhere from $2.99 up to about $3.50.
The Total Wine for me in Brookhaven, where I go. And I think, Michael, you might have been there to that one in Brookhaven, right near the MARTA, right across from the MARTA train station here in Atlanta. I noticed their prices for a lot of their stuff has gone up about the same price, $2.79, $2.99, for things that were like $2.40 or maybe $2.19. They've gone up, significantly. But still, thank goodness I can get singles. And about most of the stuff that I just showed y'all today, about all 4 of them all came from Total Wine. So,
and it's funny, I think craft beer has not gone up as significantly as the macros have gone up, which I don't buy. But if you look, the macro pricing is different too now. I'm not saying it's not doubling.
Depends which one it is, because some stores I go to, I still can see get Miller High Life for about $9.99 for a 12-pack, and Genesee Cream Ale of a 6-pack, 6-ounce cans for like $4.99, or even the hams. Last night, me and my brother were sharing it after doing all this moving. We were too exhausted. We finished off a 6-pack of the hams. It was $4.99. So all depends where you go.
Right. Well, while we're on the subject of 19.2 ounce cans, I got a few myself. So my show and tell is these here. This one, let me pull myself up. This one's called Georgia on My Mind. It's an imperial stout with natural peach flavoring, toasted coconut, Madagascar vanilla, and it's soaked in dark oak chips. And anybody recognize the?
That looks like is that Otis Redding on the label?
It's beer time.
These are Beer Man's beers.
Oh, that's Beer Man.
Beer Man.
Okay.
Beer Man sent me some of his home brews. This one is dedication, or I sent him a little money to help the cause with his home brewing, and he made a beer kind of in my honor, I guess. Georgia on my mind, and it's not barrel aged, but he's got the bourbon soaked oak chip, so it's kind of like barrel aged with peach and coconut. He knows I love coconut and vanilla. And it's 9% alcohol, 72.5 IBUs, and his home brewery he calls it Bubble Gut Craft Beer. So
Ian thinks that's Ray Charles on the label.
It is Ray Charles.
Ray Charles. Okay.
Yeah. So you got that, and then he sent this other one, and it's Mr. Rye Machine. It's a rye IPA.
Okay.
8.14% ABV, 58.6 IBU. He doesn't play around. He's got
down to the
100th decimal on these beers. But anyway, so can't wait to try these beers from Beer Man from his home brewery out there in Washington State.
Oregon. He's in Oregon.
Or no, not Washington State, Oregon. Yeah. Geez, what am I saying? Anyway, but I noticed that this is bigger than this is a 19.2 can. You can clearly see it's bigger than the 16-ounce can. So this is a stovepipe can. But, he canned these
I'm very
beers.
impressed that Beer Man is canning this soon after his operation, started brewing now. I'm very impressed.
Right. So anyway, shout out to Beer Man for sending these. He sent me these two, and then he sent me 2, 4, 6. He sent me 8. So I got to give 2 to Bumpy. I got to give 2 to Eric. And then I think 2 to Tanner. And I think that's it. I don't know. He sent anyway, I'm going to give the rest to Bumpy and let him figure out what to do with them. But we're going to do some kind of big group review on all of these. And they were canned. They were all canned. They were all canned on March 3rd, 2023. He sent me the breakdown of all of the, the hops, the malts, how he everything about the beers. And cheers, Beer Man.
I might need to send Beer Man a check too and say, hey, maybe I might need to. I'll donate and send me a couple of cans.
Donate to the cause. You might even get a beer made in your honor. Although he's already got a Georgia beer, Georgia on my mind. He might have to make you're from Jersey, so maybe he'll do a New Jersey themed beer or something. But anyway, so yeah, that's my show and tell. We're going on an hour here, so we'll probably go ahead and wrap it up. Let's see, runs, beer reviews, and tools. Cheers to you, man. Thanks for stopping by today. A wine fridge would be really good to cellar beer in, because you keep them at 49, 50 degrees, somewhere in there. So cool, but not really cold.
Or some closet, somewhere, but not during the summertime. But maybe that might be a good idea to do.
Right. And Ian was talking.
Don't store it in the attic. Don't store it in the attic. It'd be too hot.
Right. And cheers for Beerman, says Ron. Ian was talking about earlier. I said BCS. I always think Bourbon County, but he was talking about black chocolate stout. I had a 2013 black chocolate stout about a month ago. I bought 2 bottles, thinking they were both the same. Didn't realize either one of them was aged until I got home. The 2013, I opened it. I started drinking it. And I'm like, wow, this is really, really good. And I looked at the label and realized it was a 2013. So then I looked at the other bottle thinking, oh, wow, I got 2 2013 black chocolate stouts. And I looked at the other bottle, and the other one said Winter 05-06. So that one was even older. So
I'm in agreement. I'm in agreement with you. It's either going to be really good or it went south.
Or it's going to
went south. Because, you're talking about 23 minus 5 is 18 years old. That's going on some heavy action if you think about it. It's really,
right.
It's been in the bottle for a while. No, it could be good though. You don't know. It's 10%.
The 2013 one that I had was really amazing, world class. It tasted like a barrel-aged beer, dark fruit notes, toffee, all kind. And I was just really impressed. So it developed in a way that made it seemed like it was barrel aged. So I'm hoping the 2005 one is
maybe
like
you
that.
can save the 2005 one for April when we do the one with Ian, because you have that. He has a 2017, I think. I have a 2022. So we'd have 3 different years, and we could compare and see if, the difference. Mine's like 6 or 8 months old. Ian's is 5 years old, going on 6, and yours is ancient by beer standard.
Oh yeah, it'll be the oldest beer by far that I've ever. So yeah, all right, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. We're going on an hour, so I want to thank Michael and John for joining me this morning.
Always fun.
And I want to thank our wonderful chat. We had a great chat today. A lot of great comments, a lot of cool people in the chat. So thank you all for joining us this morning. So that'll do it for this edition of Stout Sunday. Join us all here next week, either on my channel for Stout Sunday. If I'm able to host, of course I will. If not, look for Ron Terrio to host either a Stout Sunday or a Super Sunday on his channel. It'll be the same time. So if you don't see me live next Sunday at 10:30, hop on over to Louisiana Beer Reviews, and hopefully you'll see him live. And that's it, folks. Hope everybody has a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy your family, your friends, whatever it is.
March Madness.
March Madness. And we'll see you right here on the next one. Until then, cheers, everybody.
Cheers, everybody.